Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending October 19th, 2022. Before I get into the numbers, let me tell you about an observation that we're seeing in the field working with buyers and sellers. Across York Region, there are certain neighborhoods, certain pockets that are considered more upscale, more prestigious. We're seeing homes in these neighborhoods not really coming down in prices. I'm talking about list prices, because sold prices, they're not being sold. So homes are sitting at a certain price and they're not really budging. Buyers are going to view these homes. We've brought some buyers to view these homes. They're not putting in offers, or if they are, they're coming in really low compared to what it's listed at, and then we're just not getting anywhere. So certain pockets, sellers are keeping prices here, list prices. So list price is a wish, sold price is reality. So the wish price, the list price is here. They're not budging. It's a bit of a stalemate. List price here, buyers are here at a different price, much lower. It'll be interesting to see what happens. What's really even more interesting is that these homes I'm speaking of, they're not custom one-off type homes where that special buyer just sees the value and is going to pay. These are subdivision type homes. They're older subdivision type home, not the newer brand new subdivisions, but they're older subdivision type homes, more prestigious type neighborhoods. They're just not budging so much in price, but they're not selling either. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure I'm available to be able to speak with you about whatever's on your mind. So, are sellers refusing to sell? Well, from what I explained earlier, in some pockets, in some neighborhoods, sellers are sticking to their price. They're just not budging. We're going to see what happens though, aren't we? The time will tell who's going to prevail. Let's get into the numbers. I have here for Vaughan, detached properties broken down by week for a whole year. 21 detached properties were sold for the week of October 19th, 2022. 2 properties were sold at $2 million or more. Now the previous week, average sold price shot way up to 1.9. That's the previous week. And 7 properties sold at $2 million or more. This week, sales are basically the same, down by 21 sales, and only 2 properties sold at $2 million or more. But average sold price has come way down to $1,442,000, which is 20% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $1,348,000, that's way over here, folks, at the bottom of the page here. The median price is 17% lower than last year's median price. Looking at the 4-week moving average, which is the dotted line, and I have that for the average sold price and for the median price, it's coming down. Average sold price overall has been trending down over the last 8 weeks or so. Sales, look, 21 is not a lot. Only 2 of those sold at $2 million or more. This time only 2 sold at $2 million or more. 10% of those, which is also 2, sold at list price or more. Last year at this time, 67% sold at list price or more. It was a different world this time last year. But here we are today, when we're looking at this year, 42% fewer sales year to date this year versus last year. That's only for detached properties, and it's just for the Vaughan area. 42% fewer sales this year. Listings, 14% fewer listings this year versus last year. Months of inventory, it's up by just a point. It's now at 2.9 months of inventory. It's been 2.8, 2.9 for the last 3 weeks right now. Let's look at Richmond Hill. 13 detached properties were sold. Only 13, not a lot. It's more than the previous week. The previous week we sold only 8. But the previous week, 2 properties sold at $2 million or more. This week, for week ending October 19th, 7. So 7 out of 13 properties sold at $2 million or more. We know what that's going to do to average sold price. It's going to shoot way up. It's now sitting at $2,099,000, which is 8% higher than last year's average sold price. Look, when we don't have a certain volume, it's really, really hard to get an accurate reading on averages and median prices and so forth. We can see that, generally speaking, average sold price is way behind last year's average sold price. So we're looking at trends, not necessarily one-off situations. Median price of $2,020,000 is 12% higher than last year's median price. The 4-week moving average, if we try to kind of eliminate some of the peaks and valleys, so we'll use a 4-week moving average, kind of shows that prices really haven't changed so much over the last 8 weeks or so. Sales year to date, we have 43% fewer sales this year versus last year. Listings, we have 26% fewer listings this year versus last year. And months of inventory is now sitting at 3.3 months of inventory. Days on market, 27. It's very much a balanced market situation in Richmond Hill. Let's look at Markham. 19 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down quite a bit from the previous week. It's now sitting at $1,695,000. $1,695,000 is 15% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price of $1,590,000 is 4% lower than last year's median price. And the 4-week moving average, well, you could kind of see what's happening here. For average sold price, it's pretty much the same. It's come up a little bit towards the end, and it's trending down as far as the median price goes. Year-to-date sales, as far as York region goes, Markham has taken one of the biggest hit as far as volume. We have 49% fewer sales in Markham this year versus last year, year-to-date. 49% fewer sales. Listings are 27% fewer listings in Markham this year versus last year. Months of inventory for 3 weeks in a row now has been going up a few points each week. It's now sitting at 2.3 months of inventory. Here are condos for all of York region. 36 condos were sold. 3 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price for condos has been up. It's gone up since last week. It's now $721,000. $721,000 is 8% higher than last year's average sold price. Median price of $682,000 is 5% higher than last year's median price. So condos is still pretty much higher than last year's price, pretty much across the board. Looking at the 4-week moving average, if we kind of go back to the middle of August, it looks like it's been trending up, and now for the last few weeks it's trending down a little bit. Year to date, we have 34% condo sale, 44 fewer condo sales this year versus last year. 31% of the condos that sold, so just approaching a third of the condos are selling at list price or more. Last year at this time, 65% were selling at list price or more. We have 4% more condo listings this year versus last year. Months of inventory came down a bit, now sitting at 2.9 months of inventory. Average days on market for condos, 32. So 32, almost a month there. Here's a quick summary of months of inventory. Depending on which area you're looking at, it either went up a little bit, went down a little bit. Generally speaking, overall, It's going to feel very much like a balanced market depending on what neighborhood you're shopping in or selling in. That's what's happening in York Region. Hope you found this information useful. Have an awesome day.